Okay, so in this session, we'll discuss about SonarQube. So what is SonarQube? What it will do, right? What is the prerequisites? Why we use? How it works? How to integrate in our DevOps flow? How to integrate with Jenkins? We'll see this. What is SonarQube? Is SonarQube is a static code quality analysis tool. Static code quality analysis tool. Static code quality tool. Okay, what is this means static code quality analysis? If you try to able to, means if you understand this, then that's it. So it is a tool, so that's why we are calling it as a static code quality analysis tool. Means SonarQube is also one of that tool, right? How we learn Jenkins, how we learn Tomcat, those are tools, right? SonarQube is one, sorry, Jenkins is one tool, Tomcat is one tool, Nexus is one tool, Maven is one tool. So SonarQube is also one of the tool which supports web-based support. Means how you are accessing your Nexus, how you are accessing your Tomcat, how you are accessing your Jenkins through a browser. You cannot access Maven through browser, right? But these tools, Jenkins, Nexus, Tomcat, you can access browser, right? And through browser means through URL, right? This SonarQube will also provide you a means web-based support, right? Okay, fine. What this will do? SonarQube is one server, but there will be one more thing called a Sonar Scanner. Sonar server plus scanner. We both combinedly call SonarQube. We both combinedly, in general, we call a SonarQube. SonarQube is indirectly, which says Sonar server plus scanner. So what is this SonarQube server scanner? We'll see later. But on overall, it is like a SonarQube. Okay, what is this? We'll learn. SonarQube server we call, but Sonar scanner, there is something called a Sonar scanner. And in general, we call it a SonarQube. So we do internally, it will have one server, one scanner. But while talking, we call it a SonarQube. Okay. What is this? What it will do? What it will do? It will do static code quality analysis. Static code quality analysis. Okay, we'll keep this static analysis aside. Code quality. What is meant by code quality? Code quality. What is meant by code quality?
To check the code whether any errors are present in it.
And that is testing. Unit testing means the code is correct or not, whether it is working or not. Means for original code, whether the code is correct or not, we'll write whether means I have created one function which has to return the sum of two numbers, whether it is doing addition or subtraction. To check that, I'll write some testing code, that is unit testing code, JUnit I'll use. Okay, code quality means
if there is any bugs,
that is testing.
So number of lines, if any number of lines can be decreased in the code.
No, that is one point, but not exactly. Okay, for example,
whether it's secure or not.
That is also one point, but not exactly.
How much concisely it is written?
Exactly. Similar like that. See, you go to a shop. For example, you want to purchase some dal. Right? There will be different types of dals. One is like in blackish color, one is shining in yellow color, that tur dal or some dal, I forgot the name. Right? One is in good quality. How you decide the quality? When it is good. Means, for example, one is very small in size, one is in very large in size, right? So where, see, for example, if you go for dal, means the dal should be in medium size. It should not be too much small or too much big, right? Or else if you purchase some rice, you'll check every item has different shape, means it will have its own specifications to select the quality, right? Same like that. So if you are going to buy a shirt or something, right, you'll check whether this cloth is good or not, whether it is silk, cotton or something. You will check whether the design, whether it is a printed material or something. It has its own specification. Based on the specifications, you will identify whether it is a good quality or not, right? Okay. Code also has quality. Means, for example, I have 5 developers in my project. 5 developers, all Java developers. Just let's consider only Java developers. 5 Java developers I have. One is a senior person. One person is a senior, very good. He is very strong in Java. 2 are mid-range developers. They are experienced only, but they are not like too much intelligence, right? Like me, they are not too much intelligent. Average candidates. there are two more people who are very extraordinary. No, sorry, they are very poor, very poor. One extraordinary guy, two average, two very poor. Means they are good only, but like they are freshers. So if you give any requirement to like you ask them to develop a payment, like we need application like Flipkart. For that, you just develop a payment module, that code you write. Everyone can do that. Everyone, all side developers can do that. But writing code is not enough. You have to write it in a proper way, where I can complete a code in 5 lines. If you take 10 lines to complete the same, is it a proper code? Is it a proper code? No. Means you can complete it in 5 lines, but unnecessarily you are taking 10 lines. Means to travel from one place to other place, there is one way you can go, but you are doing in a S shape. You are traveling and just increasing the kilometers. Is that a good way? No, right? So they can do coding, but unnecessarily they are increasing the lines of code. For example, I said in shell scripting one way, right? You can write nested if. What is meant by nested if?
Inside if there will be
one more if.
one more if.
I have a if condition. Inside that I have written if condition. Or else I have a one if else condition. I have one if else, right? If else if I have, sorry, 1 second guys. I have a if. Oh, I selected white color. Intelligent person. Okay. I have if, elif, like this. If I have 100 elif and finally if I'm writing else, is that good to write like multiple elifs? Is this a good approach if to write a multiple else ifs? Yes or no, guys? Say at least yes or no. It's not a good way. Then what should we use? There is alternate. When there is a multiple ellipse, instead of else ifs, multiple ellipse, we can go for some other way. What is that? Switch case. Yes or no? Did I say this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can use switch case. So if you have written like this, means you know that switch case is there, but one of the developers, right, they have written unnecessarily, they have created multiple ellipses, right? Now, one person has created one variable int a equal to 10, int a equal to 10, but forgot to means it is not used anywhere. He just wrote that, but not using it anywhere. Unnecessarily, it is one line is extra, and in your RAM size, when they are running the script, right, when you are executing a Java program, unnecessarily it will take some bytes of memory in the RAM, right? So unnecessarily consuming memory. We opened a database connection, we forgot it, or else we have written nested if inside that one more if, inside this one more if, inside that one more if, like that, right? I have created multiple ifs instead of using and condition in a same line. If a greater than b and a greater than c, what I have written a greater than b. If I wrote inside that, I wrote one more if a greater than c. So why you have not written and condition? Why you have written if condition, nested ifs like that? If there are multiple people, if there are 5 people, right, I cannot check each and every lines of code of each person's code. So I'll ask the expert. For example, I'll ask the first person who is very much expert, right? I'll ask the first person to review the code. In Git, we have one option, right? PR, I explained, branch protection rules. One reviewer is required. When we are merging the code from one branch to other branch, we can create a branch protection rule to check one reviewer. Means I ask that person to review the code. Whenever a new developer writes a code, the person has to review it. Yes, the person has to review it, whether you have written properly or not. Okay, he'll return, but that is extra burden for him, right? The first person has to do his coding. He has to complete his task. Along with that, the extra burden is he has to review the code of other 4 people. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But as he is a human, he may also do a mistake. He may miss few things. He cannot check end to end. He'll just roughly check it. When we create a branch protection rule, when we are merging the code, yeah, the reviewer will come and check it. Yeah, whether you have properly written, is this the correct? Okay, he'll approve it or else reject it. But maybe he'll do mistakes, right? So what we do is there will be set of rules. In SonarQube, there will be set of rules like 1000 rules, for example, 100 rules are there, right? One rule is if some person has written more than elifs, you consider this as a issue, not as a bug. Bug means what? Your code will not work. With this, your code will work, but unnecessarily you are creating so many, increasing the number of lines. So there will be one rule. If any person is writing multiple elifs, suggest them it is not a good approach, and ask them to write a switch case. Like that, there is one rule. Like that, there will be plenty of rules, like 100 rules. For example, there are 100 rules, right? There are 100 rules there. Now, as a Java developer, in our project, do we write only one Java file or multiple Java files?
Multiple Java.
Multiple Java files. For our Java project, for example, KZM Java project or Flipkart project, will not use single Java file. If it is single file, it will end up with lakhs of lines, right? We'll create multiple files. For example, this file, one Java file. This is one Java file. This is one Java file. This has 100 lines. This has 50 lines. This has 200 lines. This has 1000 lines. Like multiple files we have, right? Here in your SonarQube, there will be set of rules. There will be set of rules, right? For example, there are multiple rules, right? So what it will do is, these rules are stored on your SonarQube, right? There will be one more. SonarQube means it has two things I said, right? SonarQube server. These are the details stored on SonarQube server. There is one more thing called as database. I'll discuss about in detail about that architecture and all later. For now, you remember, in overall I'll explain. There will be one more thing called as scanner. What this scanner will do is, the rules are there, right? 100 rules on your SonarQube server. It will take one rule, apply on each and every line of your Java file. Again, apply the same rule on each and every line of this file. This file means all the lines of all the files, this rule will be applied and checked whether this rule is satisfied. Means, is there any multiple elif conditions? Is there any there is one more condition called as, have you created any variable but not utilized? It will check each and every line. Means the Sonar scanner is going to scan each and every line of your Java files and check whether these rules are satisfied or not. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
why we are calling it as static? So code quality, you know, code quality means the proper code quality should be there. Static code quality, why we are calling it as, we know that code quality analysis tool. Okay, code quality, it is going to check whether you have written the code quality. It is going to analyze. It is not going to adjust the code. Means if you have written 10 lines, it is not going to automatically adjust that into 5 lines. It's not going to do, right? It will tell you, hey, there is some line here. You have written 10 lines. It is going to suggest you, hey, there are 10 lines. I think you can complete it in 5 lines itself using this way. Instead of using elif, you write a switch case. So it will be good in performance. Like that, it will suggest you the ways. But okay, code quality analysis means it is going to check the code quality. It is going to analyze the code quality and give you a report where the issues are there, where it is fine, like that. Okay, fine. But why we call it as static? Because it is not going to dynamically check. There are static number of rules. There are 100 rules. It will check each rule on each and every line of all the files. So if there are 100 lines, these are 100 rules. These are fixed rules, right? Static rules, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Static, fixed number of rules it is going to apply, and that too why we specifically call it a static code quality analysis is, means even when your project is not accessible, means when creating the artifact itself, means to check the code quality of your code, static code quality of your code, you no need to deploy. You no need to deploy into your server. Before deploying into Tomcat itself, it will check the code quality, static code quality. There is something called as a runtime code quality. What that does mean is, whenever you deploy in your Tomcat server, when one person is accessing one URL, when the lines of code is get executed, only while when someone access with the URL, when the line is getting executed in the actual code, then only it will scan. That is called as runtime. This is not runtime. So now you no need to, if you don't remember about, forget that runtime, no problem. Static code quality means you no need to deploy it in the server and test it. The static set of rules, it is going to check the rules on the Java files itself. Means you no need to compile also. Compile. You no need to deploy also. Understood, guys? You no need to deploy into server. If you have the .java files, you can check it. It will check it. It will check it. Understood, guys? Because it is going to apply on the rules. I have created .java file. On that, it will apply the rule on each and every line. You no need to deploy. Tomcat is not required for this. Understood?
Yes, sir.
The code no need to run. Before running the code itself, you no need to deploy into the server. Means you no need to run the code to check the code quality. You no need to run in the you no need to deploy in the server. You no need to run the code. Before running the code itself, it will check the code quality. Understood, guys?
Yes.
Okay. You no need to a compilation is required, but artifact generator, you no need to convert it into a Maven artifact also. You no need to convert it into artifact also. Before that itself, if you have .java files, that's enough. It will scan. Okay, it will check that static code quality analysis. Okay, it is going to statically analyze the code quality. So that is, we call it a static code quality analysis tool. Have you got some idea, guys, why we use this tool?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
same like other tools, it also works same both on Windows and iOS or Linux, whatever it is. I mean, Mac or Linux or Windows, wherever it is, the functionality is same. Only the installation is different. The operator, the system, download whatever the software, SonarQube software you download, right? That also common. That is also common. But how you install on Windows, how you install and configure on Linux, that is different. But after that, working is same. Have you seen whether it is in Windows or Linux? Jenkins working is same. Whether it is Windows or Linux, Nexus working is same like the similar like that. SonarQube is also will function similar everywhere. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. Next, let me put some points. So SonarQube previously called as Sonar, but no, nowadays no one will call Sonar in shortcut they call, but everyone will call it as SonarQube. It is open source. It is open source. You remember, open source means what? All right, you can use it for free. Even the source code also they'll give it. If you want to modify that code or edit their code, you can do it. Okay, it is open source software code quality management tool. Means basically we call it a static code quality analysis tool. Okay, it will continuously analyze and measure quality of the source code. It will continuously means we have to automate it in our DevOps flow, but it will measure the code quality of source code. What is meant by source code? The Java code, whatever we used for developing our project, right? That is called as source code. Not only Java code, HTML code, database code, CSS code, whatever, UI code, everything that is called as source code. It will generate the report if any issues, means if there are any issues, like I said, right, it is going to apply the rules. If any of the rule is not satisfied, it will tell this can be completed in like that. It will generate the report in either HTML format or PDF format. I'll show you. It's a web-based tool, right? I said, right, it can be accessed through web-based. It supports multiple languages like Java, C, JavaScript, like that. It will support multi-operating system, Mac, Windows, Linux. As I said, it will support multiple databases. Okay, this databases part I'll discuss later in some time only. Let me give some introduction. Like, it supports multiple browsers. As it is web-based, means as you can access your SonarQube through browser, it supports both IE, Edge, so many browser, Microsoft Edge, Chrome, Safari, many things it is going to support. Okay, but what type of issues it is going to generate? What type of issues it is going to generate? Duplicate codes and variables. Means some code to add two numbers. I said, right, we can write some code. The same similar code I have written here. Instead of writing the addition of two numbers code two times, we can create a function and call it whenever we require. This I explained in shell scripting. Do you remember? Functions.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have created duplicate code, means for same functionality in your project, maybe in different file or same file, one Java file or two different Java files or same Java file, if you have created similar code, it will tell, hey, you have created duplicates. The same code you have written, similar code you have written two times. Instead of that, you can create a function and access it. You have created variables, or you have created variables or code you have created. I created one function, but I'm not calling it anywhere. If you create a function, it will not execute. Whenever you call that function, then only it will execute, right? I created a function, I'm not calling it. I created a variable int a equal to 10, but I'm not calling it. Such things. Coding started. Every Java code, every language, its own coding standards. If you are not following that coding standards, means, you know, right? Static variables in Java has to be written in capital letters. Like environmental variables we create in capital letters, right? Like that, there will be some rules. So if you are not creating them in such way, it will throw errors. If there are any unit test cases failures, right? Something like memory leaks, complex code, means the 10 lines of code you have means which can complete in 10 lines, you have written in 100 lines for that. So that complex code. Comments, if you have commented unnecessarily, you are not remove that comments, like potential bugs, right? Like that, it is, there are some architectural things and all for Java projects. It is going to identify such bugs and show you those. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you remember at least few things, like 3-4 things. When they ask what type of bugs it will find: duplicate codes, variables, unused codes and variables, right? Memory leaks, complex code, like that. You remember 4 things at least. Okay. Next, it is initially developed for Java project, but it is supporting more than 20 or 26 languages now. Okay, so that's it about the introduction about SonarQube. Tomorrow I'll explain about architecture of SonarQube. Tomorrow morning, architecture of SonarQube, and then how to install it on Windows and Linux. Both I'll explain in tomorrow's class. It is very simple. It's very simple. I'll explain tomorrow. Okay, guys.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's it for today.